Also from Ascension here, and I'm doing something a little different. I'm sure you have heard of Invincible. A lot of people have heard of Invincible. It just finished its season a couple weeks ago, and well, we all love Thrug and everything. And I thought, you know what? Let me take my writing prowess and let me take what I know about games and let me take what I love about Invincible and put it all together into one single type of video. So we are following the story of Thane Valor. Thane Valor is the last of the Viltrumites. In this universe, the Scourge virus goes off on one. And guess what? Only he survives. And he escapes the planet to see if he can survive longer. But he's infected, unfortunately. He's very infected. And he finds out quickly how infected he was when he realizes he ages much faster. But that's not going to come into effect until soon. When he lands on planet Earth, he lands in 866, is it? 866, around there, around 866. And he lands with a plethora of skills. His diplomacy is kind of pathetic, but his martial is crazy. The guy is a straight fighter, and that's how it would be. He took his family sigil, the Valor sigil, and his one single goal is to rebuild the Viltrum Empire. So how's he gonna do that? Well, he's gonna start a band of mercenaries, and this band of mercenaries are gonna do one simple job. So a simple job is to see if they can, become strong, become powerful. So first thing he does is look through everything and then become a sword for hire. That's all he knows. He knows how to fight. He doesn't know logistics. He doesn't know how to build anything. He doesn't know how to even be king. He just knows how to fight and how to kill. That is him. That is the Valor way. And as you can see, he goes into his camp to see if he can create something that's going to actually help him out in terms of fighting, in terms of being strong. He has to end what these humans call money. He doesn't understand it. He just knows how to just take what is his and own it. But him, now he has to learn how to do money. So he has to, first things first, he has to see if he can generate a passive income in the background. No matter how small that passive income is, as long as it generates some money. So he goes into his martial lifestyle. He goes into his mind and thinks, what can he do to actually become as strong as he wishes to be? And that's what he does. He picks his lifestyle and he goes on his journey. He goes from one place to the next. He picks up a hand here and there. This hunchback over here. He says, fine, you pathetic human, you stay, because she's a fighter. She's a warrior, and that's why he likes. That's why he finds left and right and center. He doesn't wait for anyone to tell him what to do. He knows he has to gather enough warriors to help rebuild the Viltrum Empire. And that is his one goal in his life. There is nothing else in his mind. But whilst doing that, he has to do the little backdoor things, he has to do a little back alley robbery here and there in order to earn this thing called money so he can eat. He doesn't understand it. He just wants to use his strength to wipe everyone out, but he realizes he's physically much weaker than he was before, and he can feel himself actually age, which he didn't even understand what it is. So 10 years has gone past at this point. He started 18 on Earth years, that is his chosen age, when he's actually 1800, and now he is 28. So he feels it. He feels his aging at a significantly faster rate, as if he's been poisoned, which he has. He was poisoned by the Scourge virus after all. And he joins military wars here and there. He doesn't understand how anyone can just win against him, but he's willing to face anyone. He loses some battles, he wins some battles. That is the way of the Viltrum, though. It's not about losing and giving up. It's about losing and coming back to fight the same person until they kill you or until you kill them. That is the only way it can function. But panic starts setting in for Thane. Why panic starts setting in for Thane? Thane is 30 now. It's been 2 years since I last said that sentence. And he is looking for a mate. He needs someone who they say is of age, but he does not understand what that means. So he tries to find someone in pub after pub until he finds someone who he deems worthy to repopulate and rebuild the Viltrum Empire with. Once he finds out mate who is worthy, he goes on to continue to build his Viltrum Empire, and he even gets into little scruffles with his champions. Why? Because, well, as Viltrumite, you have to test yourself against everyone at all times, so that you can show your absolute strength against them. But his mate also does the same thing, fights alongside him. He's almost impressed. Now a few years have passed, and now he's accumulated to the life of Earthlings. And there's an Earthling now who is clearly aging, as it shows on his face and everything. He is wondering when his wife is gonna spawn an heir, and suddenly she does. She spawns an heir in his mid-30s. Well, to him, he feels maybe thousands of years have passed in such a short time because of how his body is feeling. He is significantly starting to age slower than he was when he was younger, but his body is not as physically strong anymore, and he hates the idea that he is getting weaker as he gets older, which is not the Viltrum way at all. It's the opposite way. You're supposed to get stronger as you get older. So he teaches him. He realizes his son has this Herculean trait. He doesn't understand what he is, but he himself knows that his son is in fact strong, and that is the only thing he cares about: strong ways of a Viltrumite. Every once in a while, the myth, the legend Thane over here does capture some people. He doesn't understand what these prison things are, so most of the time he just executes them. He would allow them to join him if they were to convert to his culture, if he deems them worthy enough to be strong. But most of the time, he just execute them. Sometimes he gets this thing called money from them. It's such a weird society that will betray their own kind for these fake golden coins. So now with plenty of money in his account and everything going well, with soldiers behind him that have vowed their ways to Thane when he needs them to vow their ways to Viltrum, he holds in his strength before eliminating all of them, thinking, at least let's see if they can, salvage themselves in battle. He decides his wife, or his chosen mate as he calls her, is taking too long to birth the Viltrum children. So he goes to find another one, a secondary one, double the work. But as if it's a challenge, his chosen mate, his original mate, actually birthed what they call twins. He doesn't understand what this thing called twins is, but it's two of them at the same time. He didn't know that humans could have access to such a way. But he is happy. That means the Viltrum Empire can grow faster, stronger, faster. And he understands one thing about his children. They've all picked up traits of either being quick or being strong. He doesn't understand the idea of quickness over strength, but he doesn't care. He understands one of his children has a trait called giant. He doesn't understand what that is either, but his child seems bigger than the other children. In fact, he seems smarter than the other children. So he'll keep this one close, hoping his genes will continue at an aggressive rate compared to his eldest child, who is only strong. He appreciates that his child is strong, but he wishes for more. He always wishes for more. And now Thane feels aged. He has reached his 40s at this point. And he understands that he cannot keep living on this thing called grass. His body does not allow it. He has been told this is called getting old. A lot of people have told him that, and that he should find a place to settle. Some land maybe. He has the money, he has the armies, he can continue to be a mercenary with a keep, and he'll be fine. He doesn't understand what a keep is. His mindset is to rebuild the Viltrum Empire, so that's why he does. A few questions here and there, and he realizes in order to rebuild the Viltrum Empire properly, he needs something called land. He would have to take over a piece of land and grow it from there. From his birth in Viltrum, we already ruled the entire planet, so no one understood what these borders and land and all this nonsense was, but he has grown to understand it. He takes one child who was a homeless child. He looks at him. He sees him as strong. He likes the ideology of him being a fighter. He hopes he dies in battle because he's not Viltrumite, but If he dies in battle, he'll gain his respect as someone who fight to the death than surrender. And so the legend that is Thane heads to the north. And when he heads to the north, he has one goal in mind. In his mid-40s is to take over the land on the very northern hemisphere of the known world. Why? So he can grow his army in peace. And when he expands to the rest of the world, he'll be quick, decisive, and very destructive. So that's what he does. He lands in the silence. He looks at who's in charge of each empire and decides he could take the smallest one for now, settle there, grow his armies from there, and then expand deeper into the land. But he's bored of this long edge. His body is slowing down faster than he realizes. The sketch virus truly has destroyed his body to a point where he himself cannot recover. So he decides, why not take it all right now? Who can truly actually stop him? If he tried to, who? So he looks at Yao. He looks at the people that Yao is raiding. He looks at the armies that the Yao has and decides, you know what, we have similar strength. Let us fight and see who can win with similar strength of each other. He's not scared. Of course he's not scared. He's Thane the Goliath. That's what they call him. After reading their book called the Bible, he realizes that Goliath was a giant being hundreds or even thousands of years ago that fought this small being and lost to a rock being thrown at him. He finds that hilarious that a rock could kill him. He would annihilate that entire army by himself at his peak, but he doesn't mind. He says, I'll take the name Goliath and let it mean something. So he challenges Yao, the Yao of this land, to war. So he can gain everything that he can possibly gain. He says what it is that he has the possibility to lose, and then when he realizes he has nothing to lose, he declares war. And so his armies start being raised. His warriors are ready, 1,000 strong, very strong. They've fought for his entire life, so they all know what the situation is. Well, they think they know. They think they've been hired as mercenaries to go do something else, but he himself has said, we're taking land. This will be our home now. His soldiers don't understand what that means because the mercenaries have grown up in this world and they've never actually thought this is the way to do it. They thought kings were just born into kingdoms. He says, I am king now. In fact, I am king of all these people. And uses the court for the first time as he goes to raid, or as he goes to take over the piece of land that is in the silence. He says, all is ours. The first time he's ever said that, everyone understood in that moment. They knew that the children, the grandchildren, and everyone involved with the Viltrum Empire would have to live with the idea that all is ours. They will never stop fighting. They will never stop going to war. They will never stop being strong, because once weakness is there, the emperor himself, Thane, the Goliath, will simply kill them. Before the war is over, he is given a negotiation statement by the Yao. He reads it. He gives him the time of day to read it. He looks at it. He's bored. How dare this pathetic Yao want to surrender? There is no surrender in his mindset. He does not accept surrender. He will enforce his demands when he needs to be, but at the moment he needs to show the world exactly what type of warrior he is. So he declines. He says, no, I will simply kill everything until the weakness on this land of ours is completely gone. He fights the Yao back and forth at every single battle, here and there. He takes over each area, annihilates whatever people are in there, pillages whatever land is there, finds what strong warriors are there, hoping to recruit them at a future date if they are strong enough. But himself, he does not care. He just simply wants to fight, and that's what he does. He annihilates entire armies back and forth. And you would think he has finished everything. As he looks at his prisoners, he watches them intensely, wondering which one he will bring into the fold, into the Viltrum Empire. But he goes back, he annihilates whatever is left of his enemies, and once he's wiped them out, all who remained bow down to the Viltrumites, bow down to him as the first emperor of Earth. And Viltrum is born. And so, as any serious conqueror, or as any serious emperor of Viltrum, he sees that on his own land, before he even touches the seas, there is a piece of land still there, who is owned by someone else. He dares to sit there on his throne and lavish his existence in front of him, wondering how dare this weak being do this. So he waits, and he puts his son in charge of the first army, saying it's time for him to go out and die, or go out and show that he is worthy to take over the throne when the time comes. His son is obviously a bit scared. All throughout his life, his father has protected him from everything, but now he's been thrown into the front lines to hopefully survive. His son takes his army and he goes into war. And so the emperor, Thane, takes the other side of the army up north to see if they can cut off this army. But his son is forced to go south in order to take over that side of the army to see what he can do from there as well. I will fight at base. You will go and annihilate them at their home to show them exactly what we are. And that's what it does. The king stays on home base to take over that piece of land and eliminate everyone on site, because only chosen Viltrums can actually exist on that point, and his son shall go to the south and annihilate everyone in their home. So that's what he does. He fights an army that's significantly stronger than his, but he doesn't care. He fights with the ideology of, if I died, then I was never worthy to be a Viltrum in the first place. And so Viltrum has fully been formed, with no foreign ruler on that piece of land. All is ours. And Thane, the Goliath of Viltrum, stands at 53 years old now, with a whole horde of children, maybe 1 or 2 grandchildren, I'm not sure yet, as the ruler of Viltrum, and to show everyone what they're worth. Expansion is the only ideology that comes from this point on, but he has to wait to expand because he cannot just expand. Unfortunately, his age is exposing him for weakness, and he's ready for his sons to kill him if they deem so worthy to challenge him. And he hopes it actually happens. If they just stand there and allow him to just do what he wants, then he will live as long as he can before his body fails from the scourge virus. But that is the end of episode 1. This video is actually kind of hard to make. It took a few days to actually make this video because a lot of recording, a lot of scripting, a lot of everything, and I had to remember everything. Obviously, I'm breaking character right now. Don't forget to go buy my book. It's an amazing book from what I've been told. It's an amazing book from what I've read. It's an amazing book from what I've wrote. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this series of, a Viltrum goes to Earth in the Middle Ages and has to rebuild the Viltrum Empire from the ground up and everything. Everything's got to be fun from here. I don't even know how I thought of this series, but I thought it would be cool to actually bring it into the fold. But thank you very much for watching. Next video will be out next week, I guess. And peace.